The 47-minute verdict. The fall of the Pelosi empire. The hearing room erupted as papers cascaded from Nancy Pelosi's trembling hands. Her meticulously applied makeup could not mask the sudden, deathly pallor that overtook her face. Behind her, 3 senior staffers were already halfway to the exit, their designer heels clicking frantically on the marble floors in a desperate retreat. Only 30 minutes earlier, Pelosi had strutted into this room with the arrogance of political royalty, publicly mocking Senator John Kennedy as a technological dinosaur and a living fossil who thought Wi-Fi was a type of fishing net. She was live-streaming her condescension to 2.3 million Instagram followers, unaware that inside the simple briefcase of that country lawyer lay Swiss bank statements, encrypted family emails, and the blueprint of a global corruption network. This is the story of how a 40-year legendary career imploded in exactly 47 minutes. The fatal humiliation. Nancy Pelosi stood at the microphone like a maestro conducting a symphony of public shaming. Gripping her iPhone 15 Pro at a perfect angle to catch the light on her Cartier watch, she sneered at Kennedy's thick Louisiana drawl and his obsolete Motorola flip phone. "I present to you Senator Kennedy," she purred with honey-laced arsenic, "a man making decisions about America's technological future who can't even keep his phone on the table." The gallery buzzed as she suggested he bought his law degree on eBay with free shipping. She didn't know that the Cajun Gator had been waiting for this moment for 3 years. Digital DNA, the stock trade scandal. Kennedy slowly opened a thin manila, folder labeled NP Timeline. He didn't talk about high-tech jargon, he talked about timestamps. In his slow, methodical drawl, he called them digital DNA. Kennedy began deconstructing the Pelosi family's miraculous stock market returns. He held up hand-drawn charts, cross-referencing closed-door Commerce Committee meetings with Pelosi's personal trading floor. March 15th, Pelosi purchased 50,000 shares of Tech Corp Industries at $20.30. March 18th, just 3 days later, the committee she chaired announced a massive government contract for that exact company. The stock surged to $31.20. The result, a 40% gain in 72 hours. The pattern repeated with surgical precision across the pharmaceutical, defense, and green energy sectors. Kennedy produced a leaked email from Pelosi's own brokerage firm, revealing that her buy orders were consistently placed immediately after 2 p.m. committee adjournments and executed before the 4 p.m. market close. The total net profit from these conveniently timed trades exceeded $50 million over a 3-year window. The ghost charity ecosystem. The assault then turned to the Pelosi Foundation for Children. Kennedy contrasted the image of a struggling family seeking cancer treatment who received a mere $5,000 against the $10 million the foundation raised annually. The horrifying truth was laid bare. 90% of all donations vanished into administrative costs. $800,000 salary for the foundation director, Pelosi's own nephew. $2 million for office rent in downtown San Francisco. Millions paid out for advocacy consulting to shell companies owned by Pelosi's husband. Major corporations paid the charity. The charity paid the Pelosi family businesses, and in return, those corporations received favorable legislation. Kennedy called it a charitable ecosystem of corruption. Family business. Influence for Sale Kennedy sketched out a business family tree that resembled a roadmap for racketeering. Financial Advisory Solutions, LLC. Founded by her husband, Paul, immediately after Nancy became Speaker for the first time, specializing in government contract facilitation. California Consulting Group, founded by her son, Paul Jr., on the exact day she regained the gavel in 2019. The firm landed a $30 million Department of Transportation contract just 5 days after its incorporation. Kennedy went for the jugular, revealing internal communications where the Speaker's office pressured federal agencies to bypass competitive bidding. A whistleblower complaint from the Department of Transportation confirmed the threat. We were told the decision came from the highest levels. Choose the Pelosi firm if you want to keep your job. The digital trap. The climax of the drama occurred when Pelosi, desperate to regain control, volunteered to help Kennedy share his screen on the room's massive LED display. In her overconfidence, she walked right into a digital ambush. Instead of charts about Louisiana, the screen filled with hundreds of private iMessages pulled directly from Pelosi's system. The world watched in shock as the following messages scrolled by. These idiots in my district actually think I care about their problems. Just smile and nod until November. Tell Beijing we need the second payment into the Singapore account before midnight. I'll make sure the amendment dies in committee. Tell the family to start using Signal. FBI is sniffing around. Delete everything after reading. The room descended into pandemonium. Pelosi lunged for the laptop, but the damage was permanent. Kennedy smiled calmly. You see, Ms. Pelosi, sometimes simpler is smarter. My flip phone can't be hacked, can't be tracked, and it never betrays its owner. Treason and the arrest warrant. In the final 10 minutes, the country lawyer facade vanished. Kennedy presented a forensic paper trail of wire transfers from Burisma in Ukraine, Chinese pharmaceutical giants, and Iranian proxies. Each payment followed a dark route, Cayman Islands to Switzerland to Cyprus, eventually landing in Delaware trusts controlled by Pelosi's relatives. The most damning evidence was a cloud-stored audio recording from Pelosi's own home security system. In it, her voice was heard discussing the termination of a federal investigator who was getting too close to the truth. As the FBI special agents moved in, the charges were read aloud. Money laundering, bribery, violations of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, conspiracy to obstruct justice, and conspiracy to commit murder. The aftermath and late Justice, Nancy Pelosi, was eventually sentenced to 25 years in federal prison without the possibility of parole. Her $200 million fortune, built on blood money and insider secrets, was forfeited to the state. Her son received 15 years, and her brother-in-law 10. The shockwaves led to the investigation of 47 other members of Congress, effectively pumping the swamp dry. Back in Louisiana, John Kennedy returned to the banks of the bayou. When his grandson asked how he knew she was guilty, the senator replied, "It's like fishing, son. You just watch the ripples on the water. If the ripples don't come from the wind, they're coming from a predator beneath the surface. You just have to be patient enough to let them show their teeth." The river of American politics may still be murky, but one of its most dangerous predators has finally been pulled from the current.